And we are live. We are live. Let me get my tablet before I begin. Hold on. What up, Ken folk? Peace, Hero Charm. What's up, Donnie? 1 second, y'all. 1 second. All right, all right, all right. So, what's up, YouTube fam? So this video I'm doing is based off of these recent charges P Diddy is under, and what they charged him for, because it's been a dis a discussion about sex trafficking, right? So the title I have is Are most men guilty of sex trafficking? And I'm going to break this down because people are celebrating people going to prison and wishing life sentences on people. This is what, what you say, Chasing Hair. And this is why I'm doing this video. I said it has to be some people who think like me. And I was on this social media post today, which I'm going to show shortly. And I said, God damn, finally some people with some goddamn common sense. Not everybody who's in a frenzy and praying that someone goes to prison for the rest of their life. I'm like, what has happened to black folk where they are that cruel these days? Where they wishing life sentences in prison on people for stuff I personally don't feel is that serious, right? Now, I'm just building the beat real quick. Wait until I get some people in. People get their notifications. But I said I have to do a video on this um, because I just feel shit is wrong right now, right? People for years on social media, and I've been arguing with people for years on social media. First off, let me tell you this: I'm not capping for P Diddy. I think he's a weirdo, and I never liked him. I've never bought no music. His music, his music never moved me. I'm a West Coast cat, right? I like gangster rap, right? When the Bad Boys and Death Row Records was having that little beef, I was riding with Death Row Records. Fuck Puffy. Just wasn't my style of music, right? And so I'm not capping for P Diddy. Personally, I never liked him, right? But even though I don't like somebody, I'm not gonna wish evil on them or wish some harm on them, and I can still be honest about them and not lie on them, right? It's people in the community that I don't like, but you will never hear me lie on them or manipulate some shit on them. I think that's cruel, and people are biased, and um, um, just a lot of people just don't mean well, right? Dr. Banu said Diddy did it to himself. Did what? Now, I'm not for abuse, as in physical abuse, when he was caught snatching this woman up and pulling her and kicked her in the butt and stuff. Yeah, that's wrong. Bring him up on charges for abuse or an assault. That's not deserving of prison or lifetime in prison, right? Now, um, let's just keep it real for a second. Charleston says, I don't see the crime Diddy is guilty of. Those freak offs sound consensual. Now, for years, for the last 3 years, all on social media, people keep saying P. Diddy be having these gay sex parties. All these gay sex parties. I've been arguing with people about that. I said, prove that shit. You mean to tell me for 30 years, you guys are claiming P. Diddy's having these gay sex parties, and nobody got no proof? Not one video. Nobody that went to these parties has leaked or said anything. There's absolutely no proof. I said, people don't get down like that. If somebody is gay and they're doing something undercover, these things would be private affairs. Nobody's going to just do all these acts in front of 10, 20, 30 other people, and these are all men sitting around. Usually not going to do that. Right? So what is people talking about? So this thing has drummed up for years, and people have believed in everything and every rumor about P. Diddy. Right. So the feds ain't on his head for beating up the woman, although that was wrong. This is something totally different that he's being charged with. A lot of times when somebody indicts you, they trump up a bunch of charges on you. Although you may be guilty of one crime, but they'll trump up a bunch of shit on you to see what sticks. Then the result is later, hey, this may be thrown out, this may be thrown out, but we're going to convict you for this. Okay? So you have to be careful of believing everything in the indictment. A lot of times it's hyperbole. Right? Now, let's do this. Let me share my screen. And we're going to break down these definitions to give you clarity. And the title says, are most men guilty of sex trafficking? Okay. Okay. First off, let's do this. I'm sharing my screen. It's just basically just get a basic idea. What is he accused of and what is he charged with? Right? Let me blow this up so we can all see. I hate when this thing drops down. Okay. Sean Diddy Combs is currently in jail after being arrested on charges of what? Racketeering, which is some bullshit in my opinion. Like he's some mob boss and shit. But they're using these crime tactics to convict a lot of men. Even that was one of R. Kelly's charges, racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, it's a key word here, transportation. Remember this. Transporting women back and forth and tricking and doing things. Okay? Pay attention. The rapper was taken into custody on September 6th after nearly a year of ongoing investigations, which included home raids and several lawsuits against him alleging sex abuse and rape. All the allegations came to a head September when Combs was indicted on three charges, those three charges, and a judge denied the $50 million bail. Right? So, Combs was indicted on three felony counts: racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Right? Freak offs, they're terming things. Inside the alleged, oh shit, inside the alleged freak offs at center of sex crimes, charges against Sean Diddy Combs. For freak offs, people are wanting people to do the rest of their life in prison for freak offs and sex, consensual sex, right? Prosecutors alleged Combs coerced, remember that word. Remember transportation, coerced, right? Women to perform in orchestrated sex performances with male sex workers, right? So they calling it freak offs. Okay? Now, let's get out of here and go to here. Let's define sex trafficking just in a basic way. So I said, remember the word coercion and transport. Okay? Sex trafficking is the act of using force, fraud, or coercion to compel someone to participate in what? Commercial sex acts, usually in exchange for something of value. So, mind you, the title says, are most men guilty of sex trafficking? And I had to think about this. I said, you know what? According to this definition, I've sex trafficked. A lot of men who are tricks and shit like that, or have means and money, according to this definition, have sex trafficked women. Do I think they deserve prison? Hell no. We're going to get into why. Now, let's define what commercial sex is. Commercial sex is defined as any sex act or sexually explicit performance where anything of value is given, promised, or received by any persons. This includes prostitution, pornography, strip club performances. Things of value can include what? Food, shelter, protection, gifts, or clothing. Interesting. Now, Chifa, why do you say that most men could be and have sex trafficked? According to that definition I read, I'm not making nothing up. Now let's talk about it. I've flew women out before to hook up and we have fun and party and hang out for the weekend. I've flown women out, transported women. I've been to Las Vegas and taken women to Vegas and transported women to Vegas for purposes of a weekend of fun, sex, what have you. We had what you call commercial sex. Let's be honest. I showed you the definition of commercial sex. So, if a trick paid a bitch's rent and to get a favor, a sexual favor, he participated in commercial sex. If he paid her utility bills, he participated in commercial sex, along with transporting bitches to go to Vegas, to hang out at his house, or what have you. This, excuse me, is all under the definition of sex trafficking. I used to do real estate and my broker was a millionaire and he had, rich friends and shit. And all these men had a side piece. These were men of means and money. They had them a side piece. Broke niggas be having side pieces. Do you think they're honest all the time with their side piece? A lot of men may say, hey, don't even let a woman know that he has a wife or is married or a girlfriend. So, if you coercion, you defrauded, you paid a girl's utility bills, you paid her rent, you participated in commercial sex, and you sex trafficked because you did what? Let's just put this definition up again. Food, shelter, protection, gifts, and clothing. You was tricking for sex. You defrauded her and coerced her by saying, I'll pay your rent, baby. According to these definitions, many men, including me, according to this definition, has sex trafficked. If I told a broad I wasn't married or involved and I really didn't have no commitment with her, I had no intent on marrying her, I defrauded her and led her on. She may wanted a relationship, but I said, hey, I defrauded her and jived her to get the pussy. Or I coerced her. For what? Commercial sex acts in exchange for something of value. So I'm sitting here wondering, how is people not understanding this? I remember I had a threesome with two broads. And if, for example, those women or one of the two women got pissed off at me and lawyered up and wanted to be spiteful and evil, she can bring a sex trafficking case against me. There's women all over right now that can bring sex trafficking cases against you men for defrauding them, tricking, and leading them on, and you can be charged for sex trafficking. The definition is too loose. It's too vague. This is why I'm not understanding how are all these black men celebrating Puffy possibly doing life and decades in prison. They got R. Kelly with the Mann Act, and they're going to get Puffy with the Mann Act. Do you guys know what the Mann Act is? Let's learn something today. I did a video on the Mann Act. The Mann Act is what Jack Johnson, the old school professional boxer, got charged with and did a year in prison because the Mann Act, because he was fucking bitches, white women at that, and they didn't like it. Women was traveling to see him. Let's go look at what the Mann Act is.
Outside the ivory towers of universities, Americans faced a rising
This is what they got R. Kelly on, and they about to bring this act on Puffy. This is how y'all can get brought up on sex trafficking charges.
chorus of voices that also threatened to reshape traditional values. 8.8 million immigrants crowded into American cities in the first decade of the 20th century alone.
There was a lot of tension in the air, but the flashpoint turned on sexuality and particularly prostitution. Mainstream Protestant America thought it was a phenomenon that was caused by those wicked foreigners in those cesspools of cities into which our young girls are now going.
In 1907, the crusading McClure's magazine published a story about an association of Russian Jews purportedly supplying Chicago brothels with new personnel. When a city prosecutor claimed that those prostitutes were, in effect, white slaves, a wave of hysteria gripped the country.
There was all sorts of lurid stories.
So with this Mann Act, you hear them say slaves. That's why Puffy was slaving and kidnapping. Come on, man. You ain't got to do that. These are willing participants in Puffy's case.
Women were being hit by poison darts on the trolleys. They were being lured away from imagined ice cream parlors. It created a tremendous hullabaloo because people believed this.
Although scant evidence supported the existence of white slavery, Congress passed the White Slave Traffic Act on June 25, 1910. This law, also known as the Mann Act, forbade any person from transporting women or girls across state lines for the purpose of prostitution, debauchery, or any other immoral purpose. Act forbade any person from transporting women or girls across state lines for the purpose of prostitution, debauchery, or any other immoral purpose. Forbade any person from transporting women or girls across state lines for the purpose of prostitution, debauchery, or any other immoral purpose.
So, when I flew a chick out for fun and debauchery and all this old freaky shit, am I guilty of sex trafficking? Man, we gotta stop supporting and co-signing certain shit that'll get your ass locked up. And people setting a precedent. And here y'all is all agreeing, oh yeah. Come on, that's like a lynch mob. We've become like a lynch mob. Let's go.
One of the interesting things of the Mann Act is it didn't depend upon actual sex happening. It was very almost Orwellian in the way it was construed by the courts. The vital elements of the crime were transportation across a state line.
The Mann Act soon became a tool for more personal vendettas. The Mann Act soon became a tool for more personal vendettas. The Mann Act soon became a tool for more personal vendettas.
This is a personal vendetta, and prosecutors want to book someone.
Fathers turned in the boyfriends of wanton daughters. Wives reported philandering husbands. And some prosecutors exploited the law as a weapon against romances that crossed the color line. Daughters. Wives reported philandering husbands. And some prosecutors of wanton daughters. Wives reported philandering husbands.
So, if your husband's out cheating and philandering and tricking and transporting girls to hotels and having sex with them, that's considered sex trafficking to this new way of thinking that y'all do.
And some prosecutors exploited the law as a weapon against romances that crossed the color line. Jack Johnson was an easy target for the Mann Act. In 1908, he became the first black man to break through boxing's color barrier and reigned as heavyweight champion of the world.
Perhaps he was the Muhammad Ali of his day. He was very flamboyant. He was pretty much in-your-face kind of person. a black man being champion of the world didn't fit into a lot of people's idea about who that should be.
One more minute of this video. It's just a breakdown of what the Mann Act is and how it got started.
Johnson further inflamed his critics by openly keeping company with white women and eventually marrying two of them.
Sex and race have always been linked in American culture and American society ever since the days of slavery. Black males were looked at as inherently predatory. You know, white men essentially projected all of their own anxieties onto black men and looked at them as sexual, beasts.
In the fall of 1912, federal authorities arrested and convicted. In the fall of 1912, federal authorities arrested and convicted. In the fall of 1912, federal authorities arrested.
Boy, them federal authorities, you can't be doing no freaky shit. Them federal authorities may get you.
And convicted Johnson for transporting one of his lady friends from Pittsburgh to Chicago. Transporting one of his lady friends from Pittsburgh to Chicago. Few doubted that race was the real motivation.
The federal prosecutor immediately after the conviction expressed before the press the hope that this would be an example about the evils of permitting Negroes and whites to marry. Had nothing to do with the crime at all. It was an amazingly candid expression of why he'd been targeted.
Jack Johnson ultimately served 1 year in prison as punishment for his so-called crime. For the next 2 decades, Mann Act convictions continued to rise. But the manner in which men and women lived and loved in America was already changing.
Interesting. 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 Now, life in prison is a harsh sentence behind people engaging in consensual sex. Let's be honest. You guys are like a lynch mob right now. Now, mind you, I don't like Puffy. But even though I don't like him, I'm not celebrating the brother going to prison for the rest of his life for having freak-offs and all these gold diggers and wannabe celebrities, people jocking him and consensually engaging in this. So I said, wow, there are some people who think like me, right? So they was having this discussion here on Facebook, right? Boosie wrote up something and said he disagrees with Diddy's charges. He said, I feel Diddy in jail for basically doing what every other famous entertainer has done. For threesomes, he was just freakier. Like all these men of means and rich men and celebrities and people that can be brought up on sex trafficking charges if somebody wanted to push it. When I had a threesome, if one of them girls got pissed off at me and was just mad and hating and, she could lawyer up and say she was sex trafficked, and here go Chief X going to prison. It shouldn't be that easy. There are a lot of celebrity men who do not agree with these charges, but everybody's scared to keep it real and voice their opinion. I'm not scared. That's why I'm doing this video. If you guys are going to allow these precedents to set and not speak up, you could be next. This is like real talk. So I went to the comments and I was reading the comments, right? Let me see if I can blow this up so you guys can see. So the guy who posted this, Mudiwa, says finally some common sense, and he posted Boozy's picture, not picture, but I guess let me make this smaller so we can see. Okay, Mudiwa said murder is illegal. A old school freak off is not, and I fucking agree with this. And here's a lady speaking. She said exactly. These women knew what they were doing and getting into. There was plenty of time to exit the friendship slash relationship that they found they didn't want to participate in. This is why the believe all women is bullish. There are a lot of people who are disagreeing. Moody Was also said, I've been to a lot of activities in my day with entertainers, rappers, actresses, and ball players, and I promise you, not one time have I ever seen anyone there against their free will. For every person, there's at least 1,000 that wish they were there. And yes, I've seen some wild shit, he said. I live in LA. I've been to all kind of events. I've gotten press and media passes to events and hung around celebrities and shit like that. And everywhere anyone was, they were there on their own volition because they wanted to be. Now, so the Mann Act, as we watched that video explain, the Mann Act, also known as White Slave Traffic Act of 1910, is a federal law that criminalizes the transportation of women and girls across state lines for immoral purposes such as prostitution. Right? The law passed on June 1910 and named after Illinois Congressman James Mann. Right here, now here we go. The Mann Act was created to combat human trafficking and prostitution, but it has been criticized for being too broad and racist. Some of the issues with the law include what? Consensual sexual activity. The law was so broadly worded that courts held it to criminalize many forms of consensual sexual activity. Consensual sexual activity has been criminalized. You're reading it for yourself. Political prosecution. The law was used, is how it started, as a tool for political persecution of Jack Johnson and others. Blackmail. The law was used as a tool for blackmail. All these women blackmailing a nigga because they mad and trying to get some money, and your ass was at this motherfucking party on your own volition because you wanted to be there, you wanted to go dig, and you could leave and come and go as you please. Save the bullshit. Right? It also included, let's see it again, consensual sexual activity. Blackmail. That's the Mann Act. That's what R. Kelly's locked up for. R. Kelly's not locked up for that 14-year-old girl he seen on the video. That case was closed. He was dead wrong for that. He should have went to prison for that. But that's not what everyone since then, and the case R. Kelly had, every single them women, although they were young, very young, they were 18 and over. R. Kelly's in prison for the Mann Act, and all them women trumping up shit on him. Now, what did I want to read? So just real quick, This is the definition of sex trafficking. It is the act of using force, fraud, coercion to compel someone to participate in commercial sex acts, usually in exchange for something of value. I want to pay your rent. Why don't you come by and let's do something freaky? I just sex trafficked. Yes, by this definition, a lot of men are guilty of sex trafficking. And if a broad gets mad, she can lawyer up and send your ass to prison. Are y'all okay with that? Hey Thurman, I appreciate that, bro. Thanks for the cash. The what do you call it? Uh, um, I forget what they call it, but thanks for the donation, man. I really, 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 really appreciate it. So, what is y'all doing? Why is y'all acting like a lynch mob, praying and celebrating this super sticker, super chat, praying and wishing lifetime prison on this man? Like really, people? Like really? Now I can see a hey, maybe he needs to do a year or two, but people are wishing this man gets locked up and the key gets thrown away just because they don't like him and think he's a weirdo. Freak offs is not a fucking crime. If we're gonna start pushing that envelope, a lot of y'all gonna be in trouble. This is why you guys need to open your goddamn mouths and say something and disagree with some shit sometimes. What's up, Abdul? Now, we're not gonna be here long. I was just wanted to just break this down real quick, and I want to make sure it's something that I'm not forgetting. Thanks, Thurman, again. So let me just add this to the stage. So let's be clear. Most men is guilty of having commercial sex, which is part of sex trafficking. There's a lot of men who bought a bitch dinner, who paid her rent, shelter, gave her gifts or clothing, and she went shopping. It tells you right here, sex trafficking is a commercial sex act that is induced by force, fraud, or coercion. According to those two definitions, I guess I've sex trafficked. I guess all these men and all my homies and all my broker and his broker friends, the millionaires and all these men who was balling when we was doing real estate and shit. I was making $140,000 a year, and when we was all these men who had a side piece and jived a bitch to get some pussy, knowing they had a wife at home or a girlfriend at home, you committed fraud and you coerced her by giving her gifts and paying her rent. You sex trafficked. According to that definition. Do you deserve prison? You've done it more than one time. Do you deserve to be lifetime of prison? Just because he was freakier, had baby oil and shit. And look, I'm gonna tell you right now. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. I keep a bottle of baby oil. Why? This is what I use to give full body massages. And every woman absolutely loves a full body massage. I'll lay her ass down up in there and give her a full body massage. That's why I got baby oil for no other reason but that. I ain't got no babies in here. I don't use it for my skin and shit like that. But I don't, would you say, Joy? But I don't have no lube. But I do have some baby oil. Yeah, it's like Thurman. Like I've taken bras to Las Vegas. I live in LA. Vegas is like people in LA's second home. It's 4 hours away. I've drove across state lines with women over the decades to participate in commercial sex. And if that woman got mad at me because I led her on and I didn't marry her, she can lawyer up and get my ass. So, yes, a lot of men are guilty of sex trafficking by that definition. I can't wish prison on nobody for engaging in freak offs or having sex. I had a threesome and that was a freak off. I don't deserve no goddamn prison. I flew a chick and had a long distance relationship with a chick from Alabama. I sent her ass a plane ticket and flew her to Cali to engage with me for the weekend. I don't deserve prison for that. Are you kidding me? So a lot of people aren't thinking this thing through and they're celebrating like a lynch mob, and just people are cruel, have no empathy, apathy. What do you call it? Apathy or empathy? Because people, normal folk, dislike super rich people. They are jealous and they want super rich people to pay. Oprah's a coon. Steve Harvey, one of the richest comedians. Oh, Steve Harvey, he's a coon. We hate Steve Harvey. Cat Williams had y'all. Cat Williams was on that doing that interview. He had y'all hating Steve Harvey and all them other comedians for no fucking reason. Cat Williams, the one that socked a fucking kid under 18. You remember? You guys forgot? Cat Williams, the one was caught up with little boys. Flew a little boy out and held the little boy hostage. Little gay little boy. Y'all forgot? But everybody starts to praise Cat Williams and look down on them other four comedians that he got on. Yeah, Cat Williams. But Cat Williams is a fucking asshole. We are backwards. What you say? You ain't forgot that? Yeah, like, bro, I did a video on it. I got the little boy's 911 phone call to the fucking police when Cat Williams had this nigga held hostage in his house. A little boy. An underage boy. Look it up. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me show it. Where is it? Let me see if I have it up here. Hold on. 1 second, y'all. Jack Johnson, the homie Jack Johnson, man. He went to prison on these trumped up charges. Oh, y'all can't see. I didn't share my screen, but let me do this. Let me see. If I have this video. Hold on. Okay, here we go, right here. Now, nobody's mad at Cat Williams. You guys have the shortest memories ever. Hold on. Here we go. I shared it, and nobody seemed to care. Here we go.
Get out! Look, get out! Look, no, baby.
You don't remember when Cat Williams socked that little boy? He's been in an incident with 3 little boys.
106, first emergency.
Now pause. Here goes the 911 call from the little boy Cat Williams had hostage. Listen.
Wait a minute.
County County 911, operator 106, first emergency.
Wait a minute. Y'all forgot about this 14 years ago? When Cat Williams had a 17-year-old child held hostage at a spot he was in Atlanta? Oh, y'all forgot? Well, let's hear the 911 call. What is this nigga doing with little boys? Let's listen to the 911 call for the child calling on Cat. Y'all capping for Cat all this time.
At an house, and I need, okay, do you know the addresses of the house? 30 in Noonan. Okay, and what's your name? Okay, and you're calling from 504? Yes, ma'am. Okay, and who's holding you against your will? A man, his name is Cat Williams. Okay, and do you live with this person? How do you know them? He was a friend of mine. Okay, hold on one second. Let me get the sheriff's time number 1. Does he have any weapons, do you know? Yeah, I think so. I don't really know, though. Okay, hold on one second for me, okay? Okay.
This little 17-year-old boy calling the police on Cat Williams for holding him hostage sounds sweet as hell. Let's be real. That little boy sounds gay. What is Cat Williams doing with a 17-year-old boy on lockdown holding him hostage? Wait a minute. It said Cat Williams flew this 17-year-old boy to Atlanta to hang out. Y'all keep capping for Cat.
Pause. I paused it. Y'all know Cat Williams got a little sweetness about him. I don't know why y'all be sitting here fronting. And you let Cat Williams badmouth all these folk comedians. And none of them folk comedians ever been to jail for shit.
Okay, are you still there? Yes, ma'am.
Cat Williams been to jail, I think 12 times for some dumb shit.
This is now 1 with a transfer. The car is advising he's at 3. That he is being held against his will by a Cat Williams. Go ahead and speak to him, okay? The car is advising he's at 3. That he is being held against his will by a Cat Williams. Go ahead and speak to him, okay? Yes, ma'am. Hello? Yes, sir. How you doing? All right. I'm trying to get to the airport. I have plane tickets waiting for me. Okay. And the gentleman will not let us leave. I had a ride, and he wouldn't let our ride take us there. All right. What was your name again? S-A-H. I'm sorry. Spell your last name again. They say Cat Williams is holding you? Yes, sir. All right. Can I get a phone number to call you back?
Damn, Cat. What are you holding a 17-year-old boy who's not even related to you in Atlanta? What are you doing holding this? What are you doing fucking with little boys?
504. me? Him, he's a short, dark-skinned black guy, and long black hair. He's 5'5", maybe. Skinny. Okay.
That's definitely a description of Cat Williams.
Has he said anything to you? Does he have a weapon? Or? I'm not sure. Okay. He's just not letting you leave your house over there? Yeah, we're here with him and he's not letting us leave. We had a ride and he wouldn't let our ride bring us to the airport. So, I mean, if you...
Hold on, y'all. Can y'all hear me? Type a number 2 if you can hear me. Type a number 2 if you can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Oh, you can hear me. Okay, cool. I accidentally hit the little pause button. So let me go back to this video. And it's about to be over. But people have short memories and seem to have forgot this
Get
foolishness.
somebody over here as quick as possible. I mean, he's threatening us. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to get away from here.
Now, I paused the video. I paused it. What grown-ass man has a 17-year-old boy as a friend? Like, what are y'all talking about?
We're going to get somebody over there. So, I mean, if you can get somebody over here as quick as possible. I mean, he's threatening us. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to get away from here. We're going to get somebody over there soon. Do you feel like you're in danger at the moment? Or? Yes, sir. He threatened to beat me up, and I'm only 17 years old. And I threatened to beat me up, and I'm only 17 years old. And I need him to beat me up, and I'm only 17 years old. And I need to get to an airport. Do you feel like you're in danger at the moment? Or? Yes, sir. He threatened to beat me up, and I'm only 17 years old.
God damn, Cat. Cat got a history of trying to fight and beat up kids. And fucking with little boys. Man, y'all fools.
I need to get to an airport. I don't want to fool with him. I just want to get away from here, get on my plane, and go back to my house.
He just want to get on a plane and go home. Mind you, Cat Williams flew the little 17-year-old boy to Atlanta. Oh, y'all got short memories. This the nigga y'all was capping for.
We'll get a deputy over there soon, okay? Yes, sir. All right. All right, bye-bye.
Receipts, niggas. Receipts. It said, when you do the research, that Cat Williams flew this 17-year-old boyfriend to Atlanta where he was at. And he was staying at Barry Hankersham's spot that he was renting. So y'all want to talk this Hollywood shit? Let's talk about it. Oh, y'all got short memories. You forgot about this 14 years ago. Let me remind you. Let's see this history of fighting boys and dealing with kids. Hold on. Why would a grown-ass man like me cap for a nigga who sucker punches kids and then gets his ass kicked? You niggas forgot? Let's go.
But you know what to do. Are you ready to stop me on the porch? Oh, you
He sucker punched a kid. What is he doing around these little boys anyway?
Know what to do.
Stop me on the porch. Oh, so I'm wrong for calling out a nigga who just sucker punched a kid. Wait a minute. Let's think about this. Let's think about this. I'm the wise man here. What is Cat Williams doing around a bunch of little boys in the first place? Like, what grown ass man puts himself in these situations? Let's watch this again.
Go there, you know what to do.
Stop me on the porch. Oh, you
No, baby.
Tell me that's your child.
No, he hit me first, bro.
That's what happened back up on me, little boy.
Hold on, bro.
I got son.
Hey, what's up, bro? What's up, bro?
Hey, little boy.
How you trying to hit him like that? But you're not in his face. He told me to walk him. But you was not in his face, right?
The police come get up, man. As a community, y'all let a little broke do that to a celebrity.
What is Cat Williams doing around a bunch of little boys? Who puts themselves in these kind of positions? But this is y'all hero today. And niggas mad at me because I call out possible pedophiles. Allegedly. The black community is crazy. See, I'm sitting here talking about Cat and people getting mad at me. But nobody gave a damn that he slandered 8 black men. Oh, go ahead, Cat. You slandered 8 black men. You punching kids in the face. Sucker punching them. You can't even square off with them and give them a fair one. You sucker punch a motherfucker. Here you always get 911 calls of you holding kids and little boys, little gay boys hostage. You flying little gay boys out to your place. If y'all don't cut this motherfucking shit out. So Cat calls this kid out and walks him over here and calls the kid out. Then he insults the kid, talking about you're gonna have acne. Watch. This y'all hero. But y'all talk about a dress. You niggas are sick.
Yeah, OG.
What is this nigga doing on the playground with a bunch of little kids? These ain't his kids. Cat said, come on, you ain't gotta wait, come on. Called him over there. And then sucker punched him.
Hey, hold up.
Cat in heaven around these little boys. That's the kind of, I don't know, man. Hey.
Okay. Okay, I'm done, Tunde. When I start hearing the word sex trafficking, which is kind of a new thing, people, I'm like, is people pimping, like pimping and hoes? Yeah, I stay down the street from Figueroa. Y'all know it's hoes on Figueroa in LA. Sex trafficking to me is a pimp with prostitutes on the motherfucking boulevard, selling pussy and giving him the money. That's sex trafficking to me. Having a freak off with consensual women is not sex trafficking to me. I'm old school. You're not going to fool me with these new terms and these new ways to send people to prison. I'm out.